there, everybody. I've been working on this Hexagon Afghan, and I've had a lot of questions about how I sew it together, so I thought I'd do a quick little video to show you all. So here is half of my Afghan, and I want to talk about how I put the colors together. If you look at it, you can let's start with this one with the orange, outer orange center. I pick one of the colors in one of the pieces to sew together. So you can see here's the orange, orange, orange. And here I started sewing with this purple that's over here. So it sort of disappears into the whole effect of the thing. You don't really notice what color it's sewed together because the whole thing is so colorful. People crochet them together. I just like to sew. So I sew them together and I can do it pretty fast. So when I'm planning it, it isn't really planned at all. I have my pile of hexagons and I just begin by starting with one, and I'm going to be sewing with this teal color. So let's start with one of those that has the teal on the outside. Let's see. Okay, so this one has got teal on the outside. So I just pull them out of my basket one by one, but what I want to do is, this is teal, so I don't want to put any kind of teal around the outside of this one. So for instance, this is a blue tone and there's not enough contrast between these two colors, so I wouldn't want to use this one. This orange would work great because the color's bouncing off of it. This yellow would be nice too. Let's see, we could use this dark magenta color. That looks good next to that, or it would also look good next to this. Let's see what else I've got. I could use this purple over here, and that's pretty nice because you can see this is the same color here, and this is the same color here, so they're sort of bouncing together with your eye. And now, this is a pretty orange one. It's a little darker, too dark here, not enough contrast. What else do I have? I don't want to use the green because the green is too close in tone to that. You see that? Running out of choices here. Okay, how about this? Oh, that's pretty cool. Maybe a little too close there. Ah, I've got it. This lovely magenta we can put here. So it's not, if it were here, these two colors would be too close, but because they're opposite, that's all right. And this purple is darker than this one, so it'll work out okay. It'll bounce okay. And we need one last one, and I'm thinking, what do I have? Oh, I've got this kind of taupey kind of color. That would probably work good because it's got the turquoise here, the red here. Those are two different reds. So that's kind of how I do it. And lots of times I will start sewing and then I'll rip it out because I don't really like it. But let's get to the sewing part. So I'm going to start with mine in the center, which is this turquoise. Now, I do this all spontaneously when I'm sitting at nighttime watching TV. So I don't really think about it all too much. I pretty much just grab it as I go. So I'll try to keep some order for you guys here. Okay, so we've got our turquoise, and this is how I thread my needle. I love these kind of needles. It's just a big yarn needle, metal needle, and I fold it over like that. And with the fold, I push that through and thread it through. And I usually take a piece that's probably about a yard long. And I usually have to re-thread it as I go around. So we're going to start in the back here. And I'll show you how I start it. So I'm going to just whip the needle through here and I'm going to take a stitch right there, and that will anchor it over two of the little legs of the crochet, and then I thread it up through. This is not very scientific. Okay, so I like to start at one of the centers of the hexagons, so it's where the corner is, what I mean. Okay, so we've got 6 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so I'm going to thread my needle so I'm over towards the center. Okay, and I'm going to come up to the front, and I do pretty much all the sewing on the front side of the work. So let's, for fun, let's join it with the pink. Okay, so this is the point where my round ended, and it gets a little lumpy looking, so we'll just start right there. You can see it usually shows up on each one, like on this one it's over here. So this is one that's worked all the way around, and so what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch these 2 pieces together, and I will usually, when I'm joining my corners, I'll usually give it 2 or 3 stitches, overhand stitches, just like that, and that joins it. And now I'm going to, where each double crochet is, so there's 1, 2, and there's 1, 2 here, I'm going to stitch through those top loops. So I'm going to stitch through this one and join, and I pull it pretty tight, and then here's the top of this one where you join it is always a little funky, so we'll stitch through there, and you can see right there, you can see the stitches, but once it gets done you won't even notice them. So here is my opening, and I'm just going to stitch right through there so you can see it, see the opening there. And now I've got 2 double crochets to sew together. So 1 here and 1 here. Pull it tight, and another. And then we've got our opening there. I'm going to stitch all the way through there. Now, no one taught me this. I just kind of figured it out on my own, and maybe I'm doing it all wrong, but it works for me. And that's what I like about crochet, because I don't really know too much about it, and I just sort of wing it. Okay, so we've done our whole side. Now we're at the corner point, and we're going to stitch that together. I'm going to sew twice here. Okay, and we need to join another piece. So let's join, I like this across from that. So let's join this piece. So here we go. All we do is pick up this point. We're going to go into one of the corners, and we're going to stitch it twice in that corner and work our way around. See, matching up the double crochets. Whoops. And there's a little extra piece of thread that needs to be cut. And so here's my opening, and I'm going to stitch into that, and then the tops of my double crochets, and that's it. Just keep going. Now to end it off, I'm not at the end of my thread. Oh, I'll just throw another one on here. You can see you can get pretty fast at this. So we're going to do 2 stitches here, 1, 2, and we're going to join another piece. So let's join this pretty gold. Okay, so I'm at a corner, 2 stitches, and join it up. And so on, all the way around. Okay, to end it off, I'm going to go to the back. This is if I were out of yarn. And all I do is stitch into those sewing stitches a couple times. 1, 2, and then I will sew through the rest of them. And I usually leave a little bit of a tail. I do a tug and a little bit of a tail. I don't mind those. And so you can see that you don't even see the stitches really on the front. Here's another piece. Let's see. I finished one earlier. Well, can't seem to find that. We'll just look at this one again. So you can see the overall effect. And the fun thing about this Afghan is when I ran out of yarn, I just added another color. So you can see this one's got magenta, and then there's a little purple there. In this one here, there's two different blues here. So I think the person that's going to be using it, whoever that is, might look. Here's another one right here with two different colors. It just makes it a little bit of fun. And I'm going to keep sewing this together. I've got two large pieces right now, and then I have to sew those together. So I hope it's helpful, and we'll see you all again.